everybody. Welcome along to the Hindsight Podcast. Glad to have everybody here on a Thursday. 2 recordings in a week means we're in business, and of course, the season is getting into full flow. I absolutely love it. This week is big. United, Arsenal. I think Liverpool had a really nice result last time out, so I will touch base with that. Abigail Sports is here. Welcome back to the pod, and luckily Rufai as well.
My brother, always good to be here. Always good.
Yes. Bless. Always. We're looking forward to. Rufai, change your phone because this your camera is not giving at all. Abigail, I think it's the iPhone 13. I don't understand how when I do this iPhone, the camera be like saying na Samsung Bluebird.
Keep quiet there. Nah, lighting. I don't get. Keep quiet there.
Which dirty lighting? I be like person get ring lights for you. I don't have any ring light here.
Baba, I know the trick where they use. No.
Invest in good phones. Invest in good phones. No, they buy for that video.
IBK, I know the trick. Now IBK own. Now your own camera they suspect because the kind light where you put on top yourself. I don't know why your camera still is using.
IBK wear shirt. He bought it like
come on. Like you want to interview for remote work.
Make I this serious now. Small. Make I as you don't think I know this serious for you. Make me say the show say I this serious. I get my phone there now, but the battery don't low. Am I this thing this, but the battery don't low. So
I don't hear. I be your charging port don't spoil.
No, you know, phone where I buy from Apple Store. Yankee.
Apple Store for where?
Yankee. Apple Store Yankee. I get the receipt if you want to see.
Make I say
Apple Store key. Yes, I want to see the receipt, please.
I swear. I go forward to you.
You say the receipt. No,
that year when they say
is that actually online?
That year, send it to us for this share your screen. That year when they say police go stop you with laptop, they ask you for the receipt. I'm like, how?
That the most stupid thing I don't see for this year. It don't happen to me before now. I just buy the laptop.
Are you stupid?
I just buy the laptop. They say, where is the receipt? Where is this? They follow me for this Osakman for a year now. They follow me drag. At some point, I be on my way to work. At some point, I say, see, no worry, carry the laptop, they go. I go come your station tomorrow. Carry they go. Me, they go work.
Bro,
I dey go carry am. They carry the laptop.
Anybody
you don't know the way police they do for road. Now Sakama and Jay now. One guy carry they carry the laptop, they go. Another one come meet me, say, so what's the problem? I say, there's no problem. You don't carry my laptop, go. Tomorrow I'll come to your station. Should be your station now for us. So they say, no, wait, I'll call him, you bring him back, just find something for us. The idiot will carry your car like say you don't go station. They just call him, we come out from one corner. Carry your car and come back. I say, what?
Person talk say all those police in the day road, all of them are the same rank. Say nothing like
yes,
sir. They say I go meet my oga. Say they be the same thing.
You know what's funny?
Did they take turns to rest?
What's worse is that? What's worse? Where you go know say this Nigerian na madness. There are some of those guys where they stay for road. They don't be police, so not at all. They don't be police. They be like normal civilians, but they be agents for the police. So sometimes they go stay with police for checkpoints, or the police they go there another place. But those agents are them go to spot potential business.
Yeah.
I don't see they don't be real police. They can't show you any legit ID card. They don't be police. But now them they spot potential business for police. When they don't spot business, they go say, "Oh, go me my oga for there." Say, "My oga they call you." But they don't get mind where be say they go stop you, they follow you, they talk like say they be police.
More they don't set car like twice now. They did it at Airport Road. That international airport road.
When they check your car, when they don't go pull it, go say they find out.
Me, the guy talks say, brother, now search my body before I search yours. Police.
I will search you.
Next to me, man.
The guy say make I search her. I say, he say, yeah,
I will search him alone. Like,
I will search him alone.
As you pull your hand from my car like this, I lift your hand like this. Are you playing?
Hey, no go drop it go. One dog say they go drop it go. He say me they go hospital go test.
if
Go
you
check.
if you
The
if
guy
you
say
if you
make
stop
you
me,
collect his blood sample. Say he sure say no be how.
if you stop me, I'll ask you, what is your reason for stopping me? You get. When I ask you what is your reason for stopping me, I don't be like, my name is this. This is what I do. Once it always more often than not, it always works. You understand? Because once you ask the reason for stopping me, you don't disarm the small
Yes, sir.
small. Like,
You don't
what's
give
your
out
reason for
small
stopping
first
me?
attack. Now first attack now.
You get.
So
That first attack is very important.
So if the policeman wear full uniform, brilliant. Once they stop them like this, you don't look the guy tag. You don't look the guy tag. Say, the name that Taiwo. You say, Taiwo, Officer Taiwo. Taiwo, how are you? Good morning. Baba,
That English, that English they work. That English thing.
No, you see, it's not even English. Like it's like if you know all those children with the traffic lights where they carry wipe to wipe your car to clean your screen.
Yeah.
You know, say if you first make eye contact with them, they will come your car.
That's psychological warfare.
If you see them and they see say you see them, they will free your car.
My car water
more often than not, what they do is they creep up on you. You just come out, ambush you, then they clean your car sharply. If like the person won't come attack you from back, you just turn, look out. You know, say, in go first fear. First.
Yes,
so now the psychological thing with police, they go first give a first attack. Say,
you say, it's already talk to me with audacity like this. That's why I did inside one Uber recently. I sit down for front. The policeman, he don't see because I wear, he get one kind of cap or I wear or something. He don't look inside. And for night, he don't shine like, hey, stop, pack. But as he pack, I hold my phone like this at the press am. He come the window, the Uber guy wind down. The police say, hey, good evening. I don't look up. At the press am. I say, officer, where don't know? What's going on now? How are they? At the press am, he said, okay, they talk to you now. I said, officer, I hope everything is fine. Hope no problem. He said, I'll find out something. I said, okay, no, nothing there. I don't get shit.
Nothing. That I'm okay. See, of course, I don't accept.
See, I beg, just show me love.
Of course, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't encourage officers extorting people on the road. But if that is your approach, and you are honest about it,
just go straight. Don't call me
and you know
document.
No, me and you know that it's talk for phase one.
Once you don't ask me for that document, I don't know. You don't go see.
For phase one, if you're coming,
one of us say, "Oh, mommy, Joe, mama, won't lobby share. Just give me something."
That one, you are now you have appealed to my human side. You get. I can now use my church mind because my mother raised me well. You understand? And say, maybe it's a tough day. You understand? If you're approaching Duro Simieti from phase one, right? That intersection, that some police are always there in the night. Those ones, they don't stress you. But Alpha, Chief, they will pull out for your screen, make you give the knock and say, I don't want to give you a knock. I don't know where your hand has been.
Don't mind them. That because they're lucky they did. Nonsense.
You get. If you did that Freedom Way, if you approach from Admiralty to Freedom Way, you will say, bro, how far now? Chairman, how far?
Even if they come out from phase one main gate for nights, mostly, especially for weekends.
Those ones can be a bit aggressive sometimes.
But Boti police get for Island. Boti police.
But
this one, they won't search anything. They won't search anything, bro.
You know,
because they know they craze for that mainland now. They know so that they carry materials and different kind of substances as soon as they so they don't trust any of them.
I don't know pass loud. I don't know pass me buy loud. Me buy this thing.
I pass through Akiadeshola. Now police stop me that day. Stop me. Say, it's not me. Look. He say good afternoon. I say good afternoon. The guy look. We play silent games. And he look at me. Look me. He say you can go. The guy no sure.
Baba
most times I mind
silent. You get as you go be. If you buy your loud, you go stop you, you go collect, you go hit like you go hit you back. You go your way.
Your one boy really crack me up these days. Mr. Calculus for Instagram. That boy. I saw he stop one guy. The guy stand beside one car. The car they wound up. You understand? Police stop and say, use your own boy. Who are this guy? How did you buy this car? You don't take something inside the talk, and he can't move. He said, so now you get this car. He said, sorry, now they can't make you be like your own boy.
Now they ask question.
Yeah, say no, come back. Yeah, you want to be on person's car.
Wait, you be waiting to Sabino. Sabino's not funny again.
Who tell you say Sabino? You they smoke weed.
You just smoke out loud or long.
Nobody speak for the
Sabinus is the funniest Nigerian on the continent right now. There's nobody more funny than Sabinus. Nobody.
It not be like before. Even the engagement says
the problem is you people you are aggregating familiarity as to him not be. What has happened is that you are now just more familiar with him. No, it's not that he's not funny. Now familiarity.
You didn't see the last skit Sabinus did, where in the try give one girl number, where they try give one girl the phone, where take a phone give one bill.
I never was that one.
Sabinus is the king of going straight to the point in his comedy. He doesn't beat around the bush.
Straight. You don't beat around the bush. Even for the skit where you do it 4 minutes. From 30 seconds, you don't.
Like you get one way they try preach gospel, give one guy. As he try to open the Bible, the guy close up. He say, talk the passage. Sabino say, okay, stop this thing now. Like, Sabino is too funny. It's too funny, bro. Don't play.
Not like before, John.
Now you know that one. Tell me who funny before, see the funny now. Like
Nigerians, they bust my head, go. They go take the country where they had. They take the hassle comedians. Don't be comedians, folks. That petrol line they choke you. Forget that one.
Nah. Yes, sir. It's so crazy, man. It's so crazy. Let's go, man. This deadline day, right? I get the feeling tomorrow. We're recording on the Thursday. If you're just joining us, look, we had an episode on Monday. That was really good. Even though we didn't quite get the usual amount of views on YouTube. We're recording another one today ahead of deadline day tomorrow. And hopefully, when you're watching this today, which is deadline day. So what moves do you expect to see in the last couple of hours? Let us know in the comment section. Look, regardless of what's happening, someone said, when you're going to go back to the studio to record, we're working on the studio harder than you think we are. So for now, we can enjoy this Zoom recordings and keep it going, right? In the end, it's about the conversation. So I get the feeling that this is the point where all the guys on Spotify and Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts will enjoy it a bit more because we're not depriving them of anything now. It's just the audio that is important, right? Hopefully Emeka joins us at some point in time. On Monday is not here, he's babysitting, cradling his baby. So, all that father stuff, how that goes. Anyway, be a part of the show as always. Hit us up on social media. Follow us on Twitter as well. We want to make it Twitter money. The Hindsight Pod on Twitter. We did put out an invite, so to speak, like an invite to some of our followers to try and hit us in the DMs to let us know if they wanted to come to one of the live events that we are going to be at. But we got a couple of people, but if you still want to go, how about you send us a DM? And if it's not too late, we'll include you in the guest list. Let's touch base with this transfer deadline day. I see Chelsea are in the market for another left-footed, winger, Cole Palmer. And I was watching Pochettino's, presser after the game yesterday. Again, who did you guys play? Is it Coventry or Doncaster? Who did you guys play? Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
And I'm trying to figure out the transfer strategy behind this thing because you've got people who are not even going to play. Noni Madueke scored a penalty yesterday. Even like the Modric don't finally cast, right? Because
I think so. There's a story that might be loaned. There's a story that might be loaned today or tomorrow.
IBK, that's fake. That's fake news. Calm down.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not fast, but it's very possible. It's the way it is.
It's not possible. Now fake news.
Why is it not possible? Now you be agent.
Because the people will report them. This same news where in the talk, me say I see them. Now fake news. No be indica in what be that handle
That's not say anything.
Indica wanting news. Now them post them. That's the only platform on Twitter that I've seen that nonsense. Aside from some Arsenal fans, really.
So IBK, so the thing is, like, when you've covered transfers or you've looked at transfers for such a long time, you should know how the size of Mudrik's deal, right? The sheer amount of numbers around it will make it very difficult to do in a player like that on the last day. You get like on the last day.
And if Chelsea it was going to happen, guess what? If it was going to happen, there's no way. You see how the transfers they move now. If it was going to happen, you go see him. This person is important. This person is very important. This person is very important. If you never even did concrete yet, but the very important say something might be happening here.
But if Kopama comes, because now I think
Mudrik is done. Like
that's what I'm saying. That if Kopama's deal should happen, I'm still seeing that there is possibility that Mudrik could go on loan.
Where does Kopama play?
Right wing now.
Why does that? So why you busy? Why
you have said you have more wingers. Do you get? You have a lot of wingers.
And I don't know any club that has more wingers than Chelsea. I don't understand.
You know what I realized?
Too much.
You know what I realized?
Too much.
You know what I realized? You see this narrative that from last season. The squad is bloated. I've realized that people have gone with that narrative without actually checking what the fact is. The truth is that if you look at Arsenal, across 3-4 positions in attack, how many players do they have compared to Chelsea? Across 3-4 positions, it's actually the same numbers, or plus or minus 1. I don't know about let's not talk about City. Then Liverpool, because Pochettino said it before the Palmer situation that he was looking for a player that can play across at least 2-3 positions. Right wing, attacking midfield, because Nkunku got injured. Kani that was backup for him got injured too. That I was looking for someone that can play in that position, number 8 or number 10, depending on how you play. So in my opinion, I felt like that's the player they were looking for. And which was why they wanted to get Michael Olise first. Olise is perfect because he plays right wing and he plays as a number 8 or the second striker, even before Crystal Palace. Very well then. So the whole idea is to get someone that can play in that number 8 position, but that can also play right wing. So if Kopama happens, you now have across number 9, right wing, left wing, and attacking midfield, 4 positions. You now have Sterling that can play right wing and left wing. You now have Mudrik that has been played in both positions as well. If Kopama happens, that's 3. Noni Madueke, that's 4. Nkunku, that's 5. Kani, if he comes back from injury, that's 6. Right? If I count number 9, Jackson, that's 7. If you go over to Arsenal, the same numbers. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I've realized that the squad is bloated narrative from last season. People don't actually go and actually check compared to. It's the same thing. The squad is bloated. They have to something.
No, but the question is
that other teams do have to something.
What the squad? No, question is what the squad bloated last season or not?
No, so I'm not saying the squad is not bloated last season. I'm saying that narrative started from last season, and I'm saying that people this season, that is the prejudice that is not making people go, oh, okay. What are the numbers there? Who is the
How many wingers left Chelsea already?
Who is the player here? Who's the player there?
How many wingers left Chelsea?
So I understand what you're saying. You know, as far as the squad being people sticking to a narrative. Because it's what it is. Last season the squad was incredibly unbalanced. For me, I think more unbalanced than bloated, right?
Yeah.
But I think Chelsea have always had this array of players, hanging on, attached to. I think one season they had 95 players out on loan, something like that. Some ridiculous number.
Yeah. So is it 35? About 35 or so.
For me, beyond the squad being bloated or anything like that, or it's just the strategy behind what they are doing, right? And I find that the strategy is almost like scattergun. I was speaking to a couple of guys over the weekend, and we're speaking about managers, and we created like 3 tiers of managers, the holy grail of managers, your Peps, your Sir Alex Ferguson, your Jose Mourinho's. Then the next tier, your Carlo Ancelotti's. Then the next tier has your Jurgen Klopp, and XYZ. And the reason we had that conversation is, some managers want to be managers, right? Because they want to control, they want to be involved in all the spheres of the football club, right?
Yeah.
Other managers, other guys want to be just, head.
Let them just coach.
That's what they want to be, right? And sometimes the club structure simply doesn't allow for them to have a manager, right? They have a head coach. So going back to Chelsea, right? I feel like Pochettino and this guy I was speaking to over the weekend made the point that Pochettino, because actually a Chelsea fan, I'm very astute Chelsea fan, said, Pochettino actually wants to be a coach. Doesn't want to do the managing thing, wants to attach himself to what's happening on his training ground. Yeah. You deal with all the, the moving parts of the football club. And I just feel like at Chelsea, that is what's causing the almost disconnect. I feel I don't think it's a real disconnect, but from where I look at it from, it feels like the coach is just being told, "Oh, we're looking at this player. What do you think about this player?" As opposed to the manager, right, and his team saying, "Go after X, Y, Z players."
I think you be. I think you be.
So hold on a sec. So I don't feel like I understand what Rafai is saying as far as the team is bloated. People going with narrative is the bloated team.
Yeah,
that's not even my worry. My worry is the players coming in. It's almost as if the club is, speaking to agents. Who can we bring in? That kind of thing. Because I think a guy like Nonima Dibeke, where is the guy going to play? Chukwuemeka, that's injured sadly for him. The other guy, it's all just a bit. So it almost feels like they're giving the manager the job, then you give him the teams. Then if he picks his winning team that now works and he now likes the player, you stick with the players. So what happens to the other players?
Well, okay, I think the point is, if you look at this Chelsea side, it's a really, really injury-prone squad. When you have about 6-7 players not even available. When I mean 7 players that can easily start for the team. When they are not available, that it becomes a problem. You need to. I think it's more of panic buying. Because of the fact that there is a problem on ground. If there was no problem, if you had these injured players fit enough, I don't think Chelsea will be going all for any out players this transfer window. But if you have look at like you said, you made mention of Nkuku, you have the captain of the team who is not even available. You look at the left back position, you see Chilwell who can be injured anytime, Chukwuemeka out injured as well. Just if you mention 1 or 2, 3 players, you will see that if these guys are the ones that are supposed to be even playing for the team week in, week out, but they are not available. So I think for me, Poch as well is quite involved in these transfers. I don't want to believe that the clubs are just, they're just getting whoever they want. I think Poch as well is looking like, this transfer window will be over. We might have more players injured. Let's just play safe. Let's bring in this one. Let's bring in a player that we know that, okay, even if he doesn't get playing time, you would understand and know that, anytime you can play. And, I feel that it's more of playing safe than just saying they want to buy any out person. I think it's more of being playing safe.
I hear you. My comments and is predicated on Poch saying Emeka, we're going to bring Emeka in soon. My comment is predicated on Poch's comments. For example, Poch says transfer window is too long. Do you understand? Right? What that tells you and doesn't tell you, right? If you read between the lines, which I prefer to do, is he's saying, you know what, I just want to work on the team. Do you get, as opposed to this movement around me, of course he's the most important part, he's like the center of the cog. So it's just like, there's too many moving parts around me. I just rather this thing had ended and we are focused on the team, right? But let's bring Emeka in. Emeka joins the pod. Emeka, where you at? Balkan Islands, Nairobi, Nebraska, where you at? US
I'm
Open.
back. So I got back yesterday.
Budapest.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I don't know if is there any issue with my internet or is everything fine?
No, it's fine.
I think it's fine for now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all good for now. It's all good for now.
Yeah, so I just got back from Morocco. So yeah, I'm back. And so before we even go, I just have to respond to Ibuku. So I agree with your point about Pochettino. So yeah, he's definitely one of those guys that he's a coach more so than a manager, right? So he definitely he just wants to kind of get the job, the transfer window done and deal with the players. But in relation to the comments about maybe about the injury proneness, I don't think that's what it is. I think when you have like 4 or 5 players in the same position, some of them are even out on loan. I think it's almost like a strategy where you hope that some of them come good and then the rest you can increase their value on loan or whatever and then sell. Because when you look at, let's say, the right wing now, you have Sterling, you have Madueke, you have Angelo, you have Muji can play there, you have David Washington, still another Brazilian from Santos. So when you talk about injury proneness, I think it's more about some sort of like money ball strategy where you invest huge in these players and then also hope to sell like at least half of them. And
exactly, but Emeka, sorry.
Yeah.
Chelsea have always done this though.
Something Chelsea have always done.
Days.
Exactly.
It's a money-making venture.
Exactly.
It's not these players they will now train them, they will now grow and they must play in the first team.
Exactly.
Angelo was gotten from Santos at 18 years old. Except you are Messi or Mbappe, you are not going to come and walk into the Chelsea team at 18 years old.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a reason they've gone and paid for him and then they've sent him on loan. They've always done that since the medal days. Yes. And that has not ended.
I agree.
I mean, so you can understand the.
Okay, go ahead.
So are you saying, Emeka, are you saying it's not down to injuries? You feel Chelsea does this?
I don't think so. I think that, like, for instance, now, I don't think you can, for instance, look at, let's say, Nkunku, he's been fairly consistent in the last few years. I don't think you buy him thinking he's an injury-prone player. Madueke definitely has been injury-prone in PSV, but I don't think, for instance, they signed
So you think Kopama is not panicked by?
No, I don't think they panic buy. I think it's part of their strategy. So this
it can't be panic buy when Pochettino has been saying things that I want a player that can play here and here. How can that be panic buy?
Yeah, because they also tried to sign. They also tried to sign Olise. Remember? So that is a similar profile. So again, whether you agree with the strategy or not, but it's when you say I don't believe it's a panic buy because they've been looking for another attacker that can play right wing, can play 10 because they changed their whole system because Nkunku is injured. So they want someone that can also play that position. So I don't like the strategy. I don't think it's the wisest strategy, but I can see what they're trying to do. And it's something Chelsea have always done. Because one of those guys are going to hit. And then maybe Angelo does well on loan. Maybe Washington does well on loan. One of these guys, and then you sell them off for decent money and I guess you recoup your fees. So it's an interesting strategy. It's a very different strategy in terms of what other Premier League clubs are doing. Spending about 900 million in 3 windows. But there's definitely a strategy to it, whether it's crazy or not, or you like it or not. But I don't believe it's maybe just based on injuries. It's just also like it depends specifically because they have guys that are injured now, not necessarily because they are all injury prone, but they have guys that are injured now. So Disasi, I believe, was because Fofana was gone. But when you look at somewhere like that right wing position now, or like the offensive positions, I think it's more about they are hoping to recoup some of those fees with some of those guys who hit and become stars for Chelsea, and then the others will be sold off to other clubs. That's my thoughts on it.
My own is Kopama cannot eat, whether I like it or not. Sorry.
IBK. Now, wow.
No, I mean, in the
now we don't go talk anything about Super Team. You go do like say we don't see and we don't know. Continue.
Yeah, but it wasn't not Gavi that wanted to go to MLS, something like that, or if I'm not mistaken.
That guy
was
not Gavi that time.
Not Gavi.
Yeah. Anyway,
this young
so
guy.
I was just gonna. Yeah.
Rugu Pig also. Rugu Pig.
Yeah, Puig. Yeah. Puig, wait and say Puig. They say Puig now the next Busquets. Ah man.
That's what they say.
Barcelona fans.
The future of Barcelona now. They don't load up from Brighton.
Barcelona fans said
I cried yesterday night. Honestly, when I saw it on Fab's when I saw Fab's tweet, I didn't believe it. It was actually very painful.
Is it confirmed he's gone to Brighton?
Yeah.
I think there's an agreement already. According to Fab.
It's done, don't worry. Except what happened with Caicedo and Liverpool happens, it's done.
Yeah.
Permanent on loan.
No, loan. No option to buy.
Right. Anyway, just to wrap up on Chelsea, right? If on a scale of 10, where would you put Chelsea's transfer dealings? I'll put it at personally. I mean, I can't look past 6. Given the Caicedo thing, I would have probably given it a 7 or an 8. But the Caicedo mess, it just showed a lack of clarity. If you know you're gonna get this guy, right, get him, right. So how do I arrive at my 6? Get your deals done early. The players are in preseason. With minimal force, basically, right? So which club has done the business with minimal force? I think Real Madrid, for example. I mean, Jude Bellingham was one of the first, if I'm not mistaken.
Bro,
we're going to pay
that guy's
103 million.
good.
We're going to pay 103 million pounds for this guy. That's what we're going
Let's
to
just
pay.
go for it. Yeah.
Call the accountants, send them the money, get him in preseason, flying. Season don't start, 4 goals, 2 assists, bang, easy.
It's out. It's out.
While you guys are struggling to find out if your players need to hit form, or
guy,
I get it done. So on that scale, I'll take Chelsea's transfer on a 6/10. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, I think for me, I would give it maybe 7. Let me just give it 7 because at times you might want to. Most of these clubs are very smart as well. Like I said, those deal now. I feel Brighton, they knew that they were going to get a lot of money for it. If Chelsea had dropped 80 million, I don't think they would have accepted it. I don't think so.
They didn't now. Which one is you don't think? They didn't now.
You get so in the end, dropping 100 million, over 100 million for a GM. You want to look at it that
I refuse to agree.
What does the GM bring to the table? Like Wenger said some years back. Wenger said that if I'm to pay 80 million for a player, the player will take corner kicks, the player will score goals, the player will practically do almost everything for the team. So you look at dropping 100 million for a GM. I think it's very difficult for you to just drop the money compared to Bellingham. Bellingham, you already know what he's going to bring to the table. You already know that this guy is going to score goals, he's going to make assists, going to help the team in creativity and a lot of things. So you can't compare it to what Caicedo. Caicedo will probably just intercept passes, try to run around the field, try to add in more numbers to it. But in terms of what you have to bring to the table compared to Bellingham, I think I myself, I will start that deal. I can't be dropping 100 million for Caicedo. First try, drop 100 million, see what's happen. And so I get money rich. I'll give Chelsea 7 out there. I think they tried.
Anyways, I know people are going for what I'm about to say. I know people are going to say, "Oh yeah, it's because he's a Chelsea fan." But
if you don't create the premise, that means you want to talk something. You want to talk
about wait now. That's me. I never say anything
without
backing up the logic. Pure logic. I'll give the transfer window a 9.5, and the 5 that I removed.
Now Mbappe that time.
Wait now.
Now Mbappe
the 5.
You didn't sign Bellingham. You didn't sign Mbappe. You didn't get Haaland.
That's why you're getting it wrong. You're looking at it from incomings. You said transfer window. So you are looking at it from incomings alone. The thing is that you see, people are so invested in, they want to criticize, so they don't see some other things. The truth of the matter is that before last season ended, what was the narrative in the media? Oh, the squad is bloated. Oh, these players shouldn't be here. Oh, these players don't want to be here. There are so many of them that don't want to play for Chelsea. There are so many of them that are not even invested. So guess what? The club now had the responsibility to clear out this. I've never seen this since I started watching football, that I have cleared out about 12 to 14 or even 15 first-team players in the same transfer window. In my opinion, with how difficult transfers can be, that is remarkable work to sell all of the people that they've been able to sell, get some decent money in for them, and take some huge numbers off the wage bill. As far as I'm concerned, that is ridiculous work. If in one transfer window, you are able to sell people like Mendy, Koulibaly, Lukaku is up very soon, Kovacic, all of these players, Kante, all these players are sold, right? Kepa, everybody. And then you are still now able, when you sell about 12, 14 first-team players, who do you have that's going to play in your team? So now you then need to bring in players. And then you are still able to bring in players.
You have to pause there. You have to pause there. If you say the squad is over bloated, right, and you sell 15 players, what you have done is cut it to size. It doesn't mean you have lost.
No. Listen, the bloated that I am talking about last season, was 30 something.
Right. So if you sell, 12
finish,
players, they're down to 20. A normal team goes into a season with 25.
Wait, now let me finish. That 30 something, and this is what people also didn't check. That 30 something that they kept talking about, you have to count players. Some of those players that are in the reserve team or under 23s popping into the first team training with. You have to count those ones to get to 30 something that they were talking about. So if you sell 12 to 14, actual first team players that you have in the team are down to maybe about 15 or even less. And Pochettino came and said, I need a team of max 25. Now, the truth is that if you go to other teams, United, for example, the same way you have done at Chelsea, you counted even some of the players that came back from loan or some that the reserve team that come into the first team. United, for example, have got about 33 or 34. Arsenal have got 33 or 34. Only Liverpool have got less than 30. Only Liverpool. So you need to clear out all these things. Some of them will go on loan. Some of them will go permanently. Some of them, I don't know what you do with them. So the fact that you are able to sell all these first team players, some of them didn't want to be in the club. Some of them, I don't know, you wanted to clear them out for whatever reason. And you are still able to buy. Because as far as I'm concerned, transfers can get quite difficult. And you are still able to buy with at least the numbers that you've been able to bring in my opinion, is remarkable work. I'm not talking about, is the team now going to go and win the league? I'm talking about the work that is needed to do that magnitude of work in one transfer window. In my opinion, 9.5.
Right. So 9.5. So right now we're saying that, any summer that with somebody selling players, plenty, you give 9.5. Because
whatever you want to do.
I think
because Brighton, on that premise, Brighton had the great transfer window. I see the logic, but it's.
I agree slightly when you look at the sales, because let's be honest, I was one of those people that thought, when you look at the wages of someone like Koulibaly, then Lukaku, Kovacic, all these guys, I was one of those people that how are you going to get rid of them? But Chelsea was
thanks to the Saudis.
So so I mean, but like us too, we're trying to upload players, and Saudi are not buying our players now. So it's not just Saudi, so Chelsea know how to sell players. They've always known how to sell well. So I mean, but 9.5 I think is obviously a bit too high when you look at some of the players they've gotten, some of the prices they paid, and some of the players that letting go, like someone like Lewis Hall now, I think could have been like he's gone on loan without even like an obligation to buy.
No, it's an obligation now.
No, it's not. It's an option. I was surprised to see it's an option.
It is.
Not obligation.
So
like a certain amount of games, Abi.
No. It is actually an obligation if whether he plays so number of games. But what I know is that at the time it was announced, Chelsea announced, I think, with no obligation. They didn't put obligation or something. But when Newcastle were going to make the official announcement, they included that there's an obligation to buy.
If he plays a certain amount of games, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. But anyway, so I think he could have stayed. But overall, when you look at the prices paid, so like IBK mentioned, with, like I said, 115 million for a player that he's a quality player, but is he a sure thing? No, I don't believe so. Someone like Bellingham is a sure thing, but it was someone that was needed, so he gets credit. I'll give it a 7. You look at likes of is a scattergun approach, like Yubi mentioned. Yeah, you go from Olise, then you go to Cole Palmer for 45 million, play about 500 minutes of Premier League football, but in a position that they do need. So I just feel like the approach is a bit scattergun, but when you look at the players that they've been able to let go, and also like Koulibaly, if he was in Man United, till his contract ended, he was going to be there. He won't have been able to be sold. So when you look at the players that have been able to offload, Lukaku, they're very decisive that they know in their sales, we don't want this guy. He has to go. Lukaku, we have not even touched the training pitch, and they trusted a guy like Nico Jackson. So I think he's also been a fantastic signing for them. Huge potential. Look at Nkunku, season pro, can easily get you 20 goals this season without the injury, but season professional. So when you look at that, I think easily a 7. When you look at the outgoing, look at the incoming, I think a 7. But when you look at some of the prices they paid, I believe Boli he's not fully figured out, I think, how to work the transfer market as well as he does in business, because I feel teams have taken advantage of Chelsea a bit, like they did with Woodward when he first came in. But I think they've done good business. They filled in key roles. They've gotten out a lot of dead wood, which is one of the most difficult things to do in football today. And I think Pochettino will be fairly happy with the squad. But if you look at the overall squad for the amount of money that has been spent in the last few years, I still do feel it's a bit lacking. When you look at almost 1 billion worth of talent, and you look at that team, I still struggle to see it somewhat.
Right. Great stuff there. 7/10. I said 6. Rufai said 9.5, which is a bit very interesting. IBK was like 7 or
7.
Right. The sevens have it. Let's switch to Arsenal's transfer window, and obviously, I personally think Arsenal did very good business, right? Except, so of course, off the top of my head, I'll say the rating should be, I'll easily give them a 7 on the rating, right? But I'll leave it on the 6. Do you understand? For obvious reasons. I think the dealing with Kai Havertz is the one that takes away the one extra point, or even maybe 2 points, because I think all of us would agree that that's the one signing that almost anybody can wrap their head around it. Only Arteta can explain in great detail what he needs Kai Havertz for. But I thought we all realized very early that West Ham had been setting the price benchmark for Declan Rice for about 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And they had a stroke of luck. I think it was 2 seasons ago that Moyes said, look, this guy's going to for £100 million, right? When they won the Europa League, with him being one of the man of the match performances, I said, that's it. It's not going to be less than £100 million for sure. So I think we expected that. Plus, if you compare it to the Caicedo deal, Declan Rice I don't think you should. I think £100 million is only worth money for a player like Mbappe, right? And not more than that. But the market we have at the moment, right? You're good, Emeka. The market we have at the moment is such that prices can go, whatever goes. But I think we can all accept, even though more difficultly, that Declan Rice has performed to a level where if you put £100 million on him, and given that he's English, which goes for a premium, we can turn our eye from it. So you know what you're getting. So it comes in his ground running easily. I don't think he's coming and had a game that is less than 6/10. And I think the last game you saw against the game before the one they drew, you can see he's an enforcer. You know what you're getting from him. So I'd say 6/10 for Arsenal. The Kai Havertz deal takes away at least 1.5 points from them, but also to get in a player like Timber, who unfortunately has gotten injured. I thought Timber would have transformed the way Arsenal, defended and built from the back, right? Who else? Who else they getting? Who else they getting now? Help me out.
David Raya.
The David Raya one as well. When I was, making the notes for this, it's the one that also does my head in a little bit. Do you get? Because I said on the first episode of this season's podcast that you don't want to create a problem that you don't need, right? I think Arteta is creating a problem that he doesn't need to have. So I'd say, as much as it's fashionable now, everybody has double players for each position. I think that one is a bit tinkering too much. So I'll leave it at that. Arsenal 6/10. I don't know what you think, Emeka.
I would Emeka.
For me, yeah, I think it's been a very good window for them. I think more of their issues have been with Arteta's tinkering somewhat, but I think where you get to Declan Rice, season pro, like his main attributes are his intangibles. Where you look at his leadership, his mentality, then obviously he's a physically dominant player and a good footballer as well. I don't think he's technically as good as someone like Caicedo, for instance, but I think he's very robust. He's obviously a very good Premier League midfielder, but I think he has the intangibles to get Arsenal over the top. So I think that's a quality side in improving your first 11, which is always the aim. When you have such a good season like Arsenal did, you're trying to still improve your first 11 even more. And I think Declan Rice and Timber easily do that. The issue with Kai Havertz, again, I'm one that I like to give it time. I know everyone is already on his case, but he's playing a position he's never played in his life. Arteta is trying to force him into a position that he's never played in his life. I think he still has a lot to show in the Premier League, so I'm not trying to say, he would have been quality this time, regardless. But I think my issue with that is basically more of the position, because I thought it would be a good signing based on he can play Odegaard's position maybe, or he can also be Jesus' backup as well. So I thought Havertz, fairly proven, can play multiple positions. But I think more of the issue with that is Arteta is trying to force him into, like, I don't know, he's trying to be some kind of pseudo Pep now, trying to play Partey right back, trying to make it, so he's making it look worse than it is. But I think Havertz for 60 million is okay. I don't think it's a great signing, but it's okay. Raya, I think eventually will, overtake Ramsdale. I think for now, Arteta is trying to give Ramsdale his chance to, show he's still better. But I think in the next few games, you'll see Raya as the number one. I think Raya is better than Ramsdale. So when I look at Arsenal's window, I'm looking at 7.5 or 8 because Timber, Rice are two very, very, very quality players that will improve your starting 11. And if you look at like Manchester United,
how many did you give them, Rebecca Lovex?
I think 7.5 or 8, 7.5 or 8, because I think they improved their starting 11. They added players that fit the system. Timber, fantastically. Not many players can play that inverted fullback role on either wing as well as he can. Rice, obviously, again, improved their midfield, their mentality. Havertz is still yet to be seen, but I can see the vision that he can play different roles in that team. I don't think he should be starting in that role right now, but he can play different roles in that team. So I think there's 7.5 or 8 for me because the aim is always to improve your starting 11 and to have a season like they did, as well as they played, as high as they finished, and to improve your starting 11. I think they've done pretty well.
The big question, however, is I said this on the first episode of the podcast this season, that for me, you don't get in the conversation to win the title very often, right? And it's a position that Arsenal now find themselves in, right? After years of, will it be top 4 and stuff like that. When you eventually get in that conversation, right, and you get close, as Arsenal got last season, you need to go kamikaze, right? You need to go for bust. Have they done business that tells me that they're signaling to the entire squad, their competition, right, that we are going for it now, whether some players here think that they are up to it or not? What we are doing by our movements is that we're now accepting this tag as title contenders. Have they done that kind of business? I don't think so, right? So Declan Rice, good player, but he's not that kind of signing, right? So what kind of signing would Arsenal have made to say we are in the market, we're now in that category, we're now saying, we're going to be like... So
what I would say...
I don't see a player like that. I believe... Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. I believe that you go and get a player like Randall Kolomwani, right? Striker, consistent striker, scored goals. You bring him in, right? Or you can get Harry Kane.
They had someone like that. We still discussed this. They had someone like that. They had Balogun, who scored 21 goals. And now you are saying that they should bring Kolomwani, who had almost the same form as Balogun.
As you are very well aware, right? A prophet is not celebrated in his homeland. It is natural. When you are somewhere and you come up there, right? They don't necessarily... How many clubs in the past, right? I mean, but Odegaard is a special breed footballer. He was at Madrid, right? They bought him as a young player, so they saw him go through the learning phase. As a result, they don't place that premium on you, right? So ultimately, clubs have always operated like this, right? Always. It's always been like that. Pogba was at United for so long, going to Juventus, they bought him back for big money. I don't think that, also I hear what you're saying with the Balogun story, right? I think that one of the top clubs in England should have taken a chance on Balogun, right? But it's just natural, it's just the way it is. I didn't make the rules, Clubs don't, when they see you through the ranks and all that kind of stuff, they don't necessarily rate you like that until you go and do it somewhere and come back. Lukaku is for Chelsea, Kevin De Bruyne, the transfer history is littered with examples like that.
So what I would say is, I was also of the opinion that go and for me, it wasn't about get a statement signing in. It was about get someone that takes you in a particular position, that takes you from maybe level 6 to level 10, or maybe level 7 to level 10. Say the striking position, for example, right? Go and get a striker that 20 goals are sure, 25 goals are sure. Go get someone like that. Now, why I now disagree now with what you've been saying is that at the end of the day, we have to look at it in the context of what Arsenal and possibly Arteta feels like they need to improve their squad on. Because last season, they had a very high-scoring season. And we've talked about it on the pod before. They had a very high-scoring season. I still believe get another striker in, Gabriel Jesus, all this is injuries, doesn't score loads of goals, very solid player for you at number 9, but get a striker. So Arteta had probably looked at it. They had a high-scoring season last season. It took, obviously, Man City and Haaland with almost, all the goals that he scored to topple them. So that's not a problem, the goals. So now they're probably gone and looked at it. Before the season ended last season, we all agreed that the Declan Rice coming, as per what they need in the team, is 100%. They need it. So, in my opinion, now 10 with the rate time. It can't be like, say, we do like, all those, our lecturers that time, say, oh, this is your answer. You get 10 over 10, but I will withdraw 1 because how can I give you 10 over 10? Now, for me, I think Arsenal, I'll give them 8.5 easily. And the reason is because when you look at the fact that they have actually gone into, this position, we need to strengthen. They strengthened very well. If Timber didn't get injured, that back line, I think they're sorted very, very well. In midfield, they've gone and brought in Declan Rice. They are okay as well in midfield. For me, the only thing that takes away from their transfer is Kai Havertz, because I will never understand it. I will never understand it. That's the only thing that takes away from their transfer for me. And you see, another thing about when you look at it, okay, you've got Gabriel Jesus, and then you've got Eddie Nketiah, and then you've got Balogun that, okay, at the end of the day, we made a decision, we're going to sell him off because he's not going to be, he won't agree to be a backup, coming off the back of scoring 20-something goals last season. So we'll sell him off. But you got Gabriel Jesus, you got Nketiah. If you bring in another striker that's a big money striker or big personality, then you also then have to make a decision. Do we throw Nketiah out of the team? Do we let him go? Or you get that kind of situation. So if you're coming from, you have a high-scoring season, that kind of signing has a potential to now unstable your team if you don't make your decision early.
So, no. When you speak about the title, you have to speak about the title in comparison to the standard, right? Who is the benchmark, right? Is Nketiah as good as Phil Foden? Who doesn't start up to 10 matches in the season, right? On the bench. You have Riyad Mahrez, right? Who plays a 10-game patch in a season and gives you what he gives you, right? You have Bernardo Silva, who starts the season like a ghost. You don't play him, you don't see him. Suddenly he pops out, starts playing again, right? So when you speak about, we had a high-scoring season, in the last 3 seasons, who has been the top scorers in the Premier League? Man City, right? But they still went and got Haaland. Man City played without a striker the year before they won the title last year. And they were still top scorers and won the title. What they go and do? They go and bring a striker that can score 50, right? So you cannot look at... So whilst you make the point that Arsenal had a good scoring season, what is the competition? Do you understand? In relation to Man United and Chelsea and Liverpool, they're head and shoulders above. But what is the benchmark? Liverpool finished a 99-point season, didn't win the league.
So what you're saying makes sense. What you're saying makes sense, but you have to.
Of course, it makes sense because it's clear.
Wait. Another thing is you have to understand. What you're saying makes sense, but the kind of season Arsenal had, right? They will look at themselves and say, "We had a high-scoring season, but City scored more." But the reason we lost the league is not because City scored more. The reason we lost the league is because we considered nonsense goals that we shouldn't have considered.
That's
right. The reason we have lost the league. So they are going to look at that and think, and I can't pick the numbers out of my head now, but if I go back to maybe the earliest days of Mourinho at Chelsea, when he considered those 15 goals in a season, there's a possibility there's another team that probably scored more than him, right? So with the kind of season Arsenal had, they look at it and think, we were in the league for so long. The problem was
no. You speak about let's not rewrite the season Arsenal had. I'm just gonna ask a question across board, right? Everybody should chip in. Emeka, IBK. Did Arsenal have a season as good as Liverpool's 99-point season? Yes or no?
No, obviously, no. Obviously not. No,
right?
I don't think so.
So we can't sit here and rewrite what we thought. Obviously, we know what happened. The facts are the facts. Top the table for 30 match days. But it wasn't as good as the season that Liverpool had, losing 1 point. No, it wasn't, right? And that informs, because if you're a manager, Ferguson used to, at the start of the season, Ferguson used to say, after about maybe 10, 12 games, you say, I think the league will be won by X amount of points. I don't know if he used to predict and say, oh, I think this is the benchmark. That benchmark now determines, informs what he does with his team and what he tells his team, how he communicates with his team. So the point you make about, and he made the good point as well, on the first episode of the pod this season, he said, we didn't lose the league because of the attack. On the surface, on the surface, it's a good competition to have, but it's not bulletproof. I'll tell you why. In the last 10 games, last 7, 8 games, Saka lost, right? Out of form. You couldn't find him, yeah. Right? Odegaard lost. Couldn't find him. Martinelli lost. So as much as the stats suggest that it was the goals that were the leaks that cost them the season, their key players in key moments of the season were lost. What do Man City do? Man City have the same problems as well. So when their key players leave form and stop performing, but you know what they have? They have equal replacements.
I think EB.
So if what happened to Saka? If it happened to Man City, they just simply take out Bernard Silva and bring in Phil Foden.
I think UB right. Now this is UB is quite right, because if you want to say you are gunning for the title, because I feel that maybe we've not had Arsenal's priority for the season. Maybe it's just the top 4. If it's just the top 4, I think I will give their transfer window maybe 9/10. But if you are gunning for the title again, I feel that they've not done enough, because like Pep always say, the league is a marathon and you need very, very quality squad depth. Yes, Arsenal's attacking side, they got a lot of goals. Martinelli scored about, over 15 goals, or if I'm not mistaken. Odegaard as well scored a lot of goals, made assists. Saka was everywhere last season. But you ask yourself once again, what wins you games? I think it's goals. And you look at depth in that attack. Is there really enough depth? Is there really enough quality depth? Nketiah coming in, can Nketiah do it when you call upon? Is this someone that, there's goal scoring doubts, let's bring in Nketiah? Can he give you that number of goals? I don't think so. Now on the right wing as well for Bukayo Saka, if Saka is not performing, who comes in for him? Can the person do something similar to what Saka is doing? I don't think so. For Martinelli as well, Martinelli on the left, you know what he brings to the table. He makes assists, he scores goals as much as he wants to do. Is there someone who will fit in for him when he's not performing well? I don't think so. Now, from the other guy's perspective, don't forget they have Trossard, but UB.
The only position they don't have 2 players for one position. I've seen
games. Wait, hold on. I've seen games Trossard, was given a starting shirt and he didn't really perform well. I feel Trossard is someone who might come in. But as much as Trossard, I want to say Trossard is good, but is it someone who adds so much to the team? I don't think so. Now, if you want to compete with Man City, you have said it. You need to bring in quality, not just signings. You need to bring in quality players that you know that when they are coming in, they are making instant difference. And I don't think Arsenal have done that so far this season, except for Declan Rice, maybe.
Look at you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
you can. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, so in terms of UB's points, I get where it's coming from, but my issue is one of those things that it's very easy to say that, go and get that statement signing, because except it's like someone like Osimhen, like, I'm sorry, someone like Kolomwani now is not for me that kind of statement signing. It
if they had the opportunity to get Ivan Toney, I'm all for it.
Exactly. It could cause what Rufai said, like destabilize the team, because Mane too, he's a very good player, very technical player, but him too is not a killer. Like I think he probably got like 15 league goals last year in 30 games. So him too is not like someone that's going to get you a goal every single game. And Arsenal have like that kind of profile of like Jesus, in the sense where like they are nice strikers, but they're not killers. So I think if someone like Osimhen, you get him, then I get your point that that's a statement signing that can win the league straight away.
Yeah.
But it's easier said than done. So it's kind of thing where you build your squad, you build your squad incrementally. So you've updated your starting 11. You've got in. Declan is a statement signing in that midfield. The statement signing. Timber he comes in straight into that team, into your defense, transform the team. So if it's that yes, the striker position I think is the last piece for us now to win the league, but again, it's the most difficult position to fill. So I do agree that yes, you need to win the league. Yes, you need to bring in those signings, but I think they've done so. But they don't necessarily, there's not that striker out there now that's going to give them so much more than Jesus is doing, except to go for Osimhen straight away. You can't go for Kane, obviously. And that's it. You can't, Lewandowski is a bit older now, So I think right now, they're doing it well, because you get to a point like Liverpool, they were at a point where you like to improve your starting level. Remember at their peak when they were competing with City, you got to a point where they couldn't sign anybody to improve their starting level. So you have to kind of start building small by small. So now after that point, and like IBK said, now what is left is a bit of depth, because I believe Saka, that's a very big one. If anything happens to Saka, you're going to have to play either Havertz or like Fabio Vieira or something right wing, or even trust that he doesn't play right wing.
Fabio Vieira is more replacement for Odegaard. He can still do Odegaard, maybe not to that level,
but they might have to try and force him to play right wing and cutting in and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's if anything happens to Saka, that's a very, very, very big one. But I think Arsenal have done a great job to improve that team. They've done so. They've improved their starting level.
I think so too.
But
I have a question.
A bit of depth is lacking. But striker is hard. Striker position, everybody's looking for a top class striker. United spent 70 million of potential because you can't get that ready made striker anymore.
The market is hard though. That's it. I
don't understand. See, you see, when I speak, to football people, right? I don't understand this market is hard, right? Are you kidding? The job you do no? That's the scale of the task. So if you're looking for excuses, you find excuses, right? So go back to my question, right? Does Alvarez at City get into the Man City team, into the Arsenal team, the Argentine?
Does he get into the Arsenal?
Easily.
I don't think. Not now.
I started my head of Jesus.
Alvarez. Man City's Alvarez.
I wouldn't.
Alvarez. I believe Alvarez walks into Liverpool's team.
Any team in the Premier League.
Walks into United's team. Walks into Tottenham's team. Chelsea's team. Walks into any team in the Premier League. Right? But that's the guy on the bench.
Yeah, but
that's the guy on the bench for City.
Wait, hold on. But if Arsenal signed him, what you have said that he's not a ready-made or he's not that statement signing. So
exactly.
No, you can't do that. You can't.
You can't.
Now this is the story.
Why I made that point is
he's not ready-made now. Now
listen now. I make the point to rebut what you say, like it's hard to find. That's the scale of the task, right? That's the scale of the task. Go and find the player.
You be. That point can't stand because you said they should make a statement signing. Alvarez they brought in
and I told you,
somebody that can stay behind Haaland.
Listen, and I told you, go and get Randall Kolomwani, for want of a better, go and get Osimhen, go and get
signing.
Hold on. Of course, go and get statement signing.
I think Alvarez is a statement signing. I think Alvarez is.
No. At the time he was signing, not statement signing. But I'm saying it's your job. It's your job to unearth. Look, this is what you do, right? Is Højlund a statement signing? Yes, he is. Right? Is he ready? Højlund is a statement signing.
He's a statement signing, but he's not a proven player.
I don't think he is.
So we all agree now with this small exercise that a statement signing is you putting faith and saying, this guy we're bringing in, for the amount of money we're paying for him, is the guy that we're going to deliver us goals. Do you get? So I don't care who you do that. It's like to find player for you.
You see what Rebecca said? You see what Rebecca said about
right.
It is easier said than done. See,
bro, if you're looking for excuses in top football, you will find it.
Wait. If Arsenal don't shell out, say, another 60, 80. Look, the only reason I will agree with say, oh, you shell out maybe 70, 80 for a striker, for example, is because you paid it for Kai Havertz anyway. If you carry that money,
so the money is there.
Striker, then I agree. But if not, if Arsenal had gone and paid 70, 80 for a striker, statement signing, but has not proven, it will be a problem.
Bro, get the player in, right? Do your homework. Scouting. Get the player in.
It will be a problem. I'm telling you that it will be a problem.
You're not gonna sign Højlund, right? It concerns Højlund, no pop. You're gonna make a statement without signing.
Wait, Yubi, you know, say if United, for example, if United had who now? So the same way after getting
what are doing ifs now?
You get if United had those strikers.
Once you go into ifs now, we're in trouble.
Now I'm just telling you, Arsenal situation. If United had the same Arsenal situation, oh, Jesus and another guy that pops in here and there, not 25-20, but here and there, but they scored goals, they delivered. You now bring Højlund, that's not proven for 70 million. You know, say don't be this way with the talk, now we will talk. It would have been a more suspect signing.
That's why I say when you go into ifs and
I know. So if you compare it to United situation, it's different. United needed a striker anyway. United would have bought a striker.
Does United sign Højlund for 70 million if we had Gabriel Jesus and Nketiah Trossard that can play in that position?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we signed the player. We still sign the player, yes.
Even if you sign the player, it would have been a more suspect signing.
You can never spend 70 million on someone like you can never spend 70 million on a potential striker like Højlund when you have Jesus. Nobody, there's no way you spend that money.
Bro, you would have been a suspect signing.
I beg. Somebody help me out here, right? Has Jesus ever scored more than 20 goals this season?
Neither has Kolomwani.
Right. The point is that
Kolomwani hasn't either.
No. The point is that Kolomwani is 20, I mean 21, I be 18, I be 19, whatever he is, right?
Now you want me to go bring a statement sign.
Hold on.
If you don't like player like
19, whatever it is. No, see,
like that.
You can want anything for man.
Relax.
The kid at
Goncalo Ramos.
I said he's 24 years old. Kolomwani is 24 years old.
24 years old.
Right, 24,
okay.
right? 24, right? Grown-ass man, right? But there's also Goncalo Ramos, right? Who I wanted at United, right? Striker, get in the box and score me goals, right?
But you be now scouting you do now. How the striker go turn when he come? You don't know.
So, Baba, see, is there? Haaland could have when Haaland came, you said that Haaland will not pop, right? You will never be.
I don't go pop. I don't
that video deal. You did now. You did that thing. You find out the lie. It's all come. That video deal.
Oh my God.
You did doubt time. You don't say
people you are doing podcast with. They want
You guys want to reinforce your position, yeah.
But you be waiting Kolomwani don't do you. Waiting Kolomwani don't do you. So this guy is a normal player.
So I use Kolomwani for someone like when you have Jesus there, when you spend that kind of money, when you have Jesus there, that's when you kind of have issues. So that's why you do things slowly. So you give Jesus another season now. Let's see. He got injured for 3 months last year. Okay.
And that's how
Jesus has won titles before. Let's see. So let's him perform. But like to now, it's very easy to say, oh, that's one get that statement signing up front. It's you can't.
I feel like Una want to win Matty. It feels like I want to make Matty win another treble again. Because all I'm doing here is to ensure that those idiots are run out of town.
No, you see what needs to happen. As much as I agree, but what needs to happen is that not just Arsenal, every other person also needs to bring their level up. If every other person brings their level up,
now you with the same go front first. We then behind you. If you don't try, we enter. We push you forward. There's a reason that they send the bomb squad first. Arsenal are the bomb squad of Premier League. We send you first, go in. If you can't do it, we come in behind you. This idiot, this any striker, you're saying you win the title. And
Now
things like this,
make Saudi people who buy, make Arabia, make Saudi people who buy everybody, make all of us they spend money. Because
and things like this,
great.
You can go to the bank, Man City will win title. Like as things like this,
bro, it's sure. It's sure you're winning.
So effectively, this league we're talking about top 4, top 2, and it doesn't make sense. Anyway,
let's sign. I want to compete to Man City now.
Sign better players. Don't even know Mudryk, Kudryk, Cedric.
Let me just make a point. So I think what Arsenal are doing, again, like you said, yes, to make that signing to win the
Cedric, Kudryk.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. Wait.
So they can sign a player for 100 million and still not win the league, right? So I think what they are doing is, again, they're building smart, they're building incrementally, and what everybody should try and do now is to try and position yourself to be the first when Pep goes and City come back to earth. Because Arsenal can spend, let's say Arsenal spend 100 million on Kolomwani now, they are still not going to be favorites to win the league. So I think what they are doing is you have to be smart. They are building your squad, they are building your 11, which they've done.
And there's no short thing.
There's no short thing. So what everybody is doing and what Arsenal are doing, clearly Chelsea are doing, and what United should be doing is you're building your squad, and the first person you're going to try and fill in that vacuum when Pep goes. That's what everybody has to do, because I can guarantee you now they spent 100 million on Declan Rice, they bought Timber, they bought Raya. Except they buy Osimhen, and even if they buy Osimhen, are you going to tell me today, honestly, who will be favorites to win the league? Do you think you still be Arsenal?
No, from the top of the season, City still be the favorites.
That's the only player. That's the only short thing that is out now. The striker that is available.
No matter.
Osimhen. So if it's not Osimhen, I'm sorry. Then it's what are you doing? They're still spending 100 million on potential, and you might still fail and win the league if that's not who you really want.
There's Lautaro.
In any sports, in any sports, in any sports, right? Be the NBA, be in boxing, the defending champion, right, will always be the favorites in the next season, right?
Yes.
Because no matter what you do as challenger, because they have the experience of doing it. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? And they have the confidence and the crown of doing it, right? So if you're looking for assurance before a season starts, you're never going to find any in sports. You're never going to find any. However, you need to do enough that if you strike, if the opportunity that you strike, you will get it.
But everybody can do.
In my opinion, with the transfer that
when Joseph for Klitschko,
with the business that Arsenal have done, in my opinion,
it's not good. It's not good enough to challenge for the title. It's not.
But it can't be good enough to beat.
If they have the same season like they had last season, with the business that they've done, in my opinion, they win the league. They will. Okay, if they have the same season like they had last season, with this business that they've done, I think they'll win the league. We've seen the signs. See, Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, right?
Sorry.
The reason. What is the beauty? Emeka said you position for when Pep leaves. What is the beauty, right? In winning title when
they try to win
when you know that.
No, I don't really agree with that. I don't really agree.
When you know that Pep had left it for people to win, bro. Okay, Mourinho ran Pep out of town in Spain.
Let me clarify my own point on that. They are trying to win the league now, but my point is you just don't like how they are doing it. So they are obviously trying to win the league. You sign Raya, you sign Timber, you sign Declan Rice for 100 million. They are trying to win now. They just don't feel like you do that spending 100 million on a potential striker is going to be the difference. Because I'm very sure if a world-class striker like Kane that was available to them or Osimhen, I'm sure they would have gone for it. But my point is, if they spend that money on building their squad in other ways, then why do you now need to spend another 100 million on a player that they don't feel is necessarily going to get in their 11? So you don't know how they're doing it.
I agree.
Emeka makes a good point, and I'm hearing him completely. But I can guarantee you, Arsenal are in an idealistic mind state, right? Cutthroat winners, no, they step it up. They don't wait. They don't gamble, right? Look, Arsenal have the feeling that Jesus will come good. We know. Pep knew the same thing. You see, Arsenal have not gotten to the point that Pep got with Jesus, right? When Pep lets a player go like that, he knows, he can see it. This is this is the most brutal of winners, right? They can see it, right? So when Mourinho let Czech go, when Mourinho brought Couture into the team, Czech was still the best, right? In all our eyes. But Mourinho saw something. He said, look, this is the guy I'm putting in the team now, right? These guys always know. It's almost like the sixth sense. They know, right?
So you
hold on. And Arteta has not gone to that point. He still believes that this Zinchenko and left back with his bro, it's not going to cut. It's an idealistic mind state.
See, Yubi, you know what I think?
And they say, there's a popular saying, strike when the iron is hot.
Yubi,
make I talk. I beg. Wait, hold on. I don't want to forget them. Hold on.
Wait. When I want to talk since now you want to make. I want to respond.
Oh yeah, talk.
You see, it's a tricky. You see, it's a tricky thing. The reason it is tricky is that you see what Pep is doing. Pep is cutthroat, no doubt. But you see, Pep dominating now and being the favorite from the start of the season is a combination of a number of things. One of those things is the fact that he's been there 7-8 years. I think 7 or 8 years. One of those things. Second is that when you have been there for that long, but every season you still make solid signings to replenish the team, right? Then another thing there is that one huge strength that he builds his team on is that players that are not automatically the number one, they accept that we are part of Man City, even if I play only 15 games in the Premier League in a season, even if I play only 20, even if I play only 10. There are quite a number of those players until they decide I don't agree anymore. A lot of those players that Pep has let go is not just because, I see that he's not at the level I want him to be at. It's not just because of that. A lot of those players decided, look at, for example, Bernardo Silva as well.
No. If anything, what you have said,
numbers until Pep said, you know what? Look, Mahrez is off to Saudi Arabia. This is more games, obviously, you play. Stay in the team.
No.
Not because it wasn't even Gabriel Jesus. Remember the season.
Hold on.
Wait, now make a video at the top. There you go. The season they won the league before Jesus left. We were saying Jesus doesn't score lots of goals. They can even play without the number 9. They can even. But Jesus himself, I want to play every game, was why he left. Jesus himself decided he wanted to go.
And Alvarez to do that every game. Alvarez to do that.
So that's
this is the point.
It's a tricky.
No,
so you can't.
It's not tricky.
I think automatically say Arsenal must
Sorry. No, I just have to. I know. I have to respond because it's an important. No. Hold
on a sec. So I've been into sport management in the last 2 years, and I can tell you that there are targets you set for yourself, realistic targets, and I think that, like Arteta said last season, the honest truth is that they never wanted to see themselves as a title challenger.
They didn't see themselves
as a title challenger. For you to compete against a Man City team, it's a project, not just a season team, not just 2 seasons team. It's a project, and I see Arteta as someone who would, do that well. Who would run that project very well. How many seasons did
Pep do before he won the league? Again, I beg. Now the second season or third season.
No, Man City already had a good squad. Now this is the difference.
I'm not saying when
Man City, the next season won the league. The next season won the league. Yeah. So this is it. There's need to, like, I made mention of quality squad depth. If you don't have quality squad depth, you cannot compete against Man City. And for you to build quality squad depth is not just 1-2 seasons. It takes 3-4 seasons for you to build quality squad depth. And like Rufai said, you need to have players who not necessarily, they don't see themselves as the superstars like the guys that start, but they have accepted that role. That I will enter.
And that's why I want to respond, because it's absolute, it's a lie, it's wrong. Now listen, and please listen clearly, right? Why I came back to that points is because it's very important to rebut that immediately. If anything, what you're saying is reverse. The players that Man City have, right, all believe that they should be starting, right? And the reason they come is because when they play, they have a sustained amount of games, 10 games, 15 games, and they know that, you know what, I'm starting now. Until their form drops or they pick an injury. The next person who is behind them, who also believes that I should have been the one starting anyway, comes in and plays a smash role, right? So they don't accept. They don't accept that I'll be number 2. No.
No, you have misunderstood. No, that's not the point. Nobody said they are number 2.
Not Cancelo, not Ruben Diaz, not Laporte. Are you kidding me?
Nobody said number 2.
Hold on.
Obviously, quality score depth cannot be number 2. Anything quality cannot be number 2. There's a reason I said quality score depth.
Listen.
You have misunderstood the point.
No.
It's the same way you say when I
this goes against everything that Pep builds in his team.
Continue.
Right? Because Phil Foden believes that I am the best player in this position in this team, right? But in the end, the manager will pick who is the best player, right?
But wait, now this is it. If Phil Foden is dropped, hold on. If Phil Foden is dropped, would there be an issue from him? If he's dropped?
Because he knows, right, that the next player is almost as good enough as I am.
That's what I'm saying. That it's hard to get players like that. It's difficult to get players like that. That's the point. That's the point. When you drop,
hold on now. What Rufai said and what you agree with is that the players accept that they're number 2. They don't accept, no.
Let me tell you.
The moment
you have misunderstood the point. It's the same way you say, when I speak to football people, I expect that you have misunderstood the point. Because the point, like we all know, right, is that at that level, what you create in a team is fierce competition. Fierce competition. Oh, if I compete, if I'm the best in that position, I'll play. If I compete, if I'm the best in that position, I'll play. That one, we all know that. The point I have made, which the same way I said you misunderstood it, is okay. Maybe I need to rephrase it. Is that whether or not you create a fierce competition, say, oh, if I play well, I start. They remove me here. Players will always have that disposition to say, look, in this team, it's like, how can I be playing only 15 games in a season? How can I be playing only player? But we've seen it. It has happened. It was well reported.
That's it.
That's
why
Wait.
It's a different point entirely. It's a different point entirely.
Wait now. It's why Gabriel Jesus left. It was why Bernardo Silva wanted to leave. But guess what? Someone like Riyad Mahrez, before the Saudi money came, despite the fact that Riyad Mahrez can come from the bench for a lot of the games in the season, Riyad Mahrez, there was never a force, even the kind of force that happened with Bernardo Silva. There was never a force
because he started so many games too.
Because there's a time. And also, you have to now also check the fact that it not be say Pep, they pick, not be every time they pick because this person, they play past this person. No. That fierce competition they created is when the manager decides to go with this shape, when the manager decides to go with this strategy, when the manager decides to go with this profile, everybody accepts that that's the manager's decision.
Exactly. The guy will start any ball.
When he doesn't pick me, I don't play.
Players only accept that, right, when they know that the person that is being picked is as good as they are.
No, players only accept that. Players only accept that when they know for a fact and accept that the manager is the decision maker. And
remember when we interviewed Frank? I want to make a point. Remember when we interviewed Frank?
Hold on. I'm the one that raised the issue, right? You can't
hold on. Frank made a point.
Right?
I don't forget it.
Frank that number 2. It doesn't happen at this team.
Wait. No. You be wait.
Frank made a statement. Our Cole Palmer, your Cole Palmers, your Nathan Ake, not Laporte.
You be wait. Hold on. You know when we interviewed Frank made a statement. He said, I asked him that, is there a time that he feels that he's supposed to be on the bench? And he said yes. Remember, he said when
he's not playing well, he knows when he's not playing well.
When he knows that he's not playing well, he's on the bench, and they play someone that is not even better than him. There's this guilt that I need to up my game as well. That's the way it works at Man City. So there's nothing like when these guys.
I know what Frank said, and it's good that you brought it up. With all due respect to all involved, Man City is cut through. It's a different level entirely, right? Like with all due respect to all involved, we're talking about a different environment entirely. But I think that we have all made the point, and it's clear. If I made a good point, I was just saying that this Pep that I have case studied, right? His team don't have a lot of number twos. Maybe one or two number twos. Maybe Scott Carson, right?
Maybe Scott Carson. Quality that he signs.
Maybe with
maybe Obama.
Wait, yeah, you see, this was why I said
not in midfield.
There are so many things involved. Imagine another example. When Mourinho just started,
Alvarez is the ball starter.
When Mourinho just started,
why is he on the bench? Why is he on the bench?
See, when Mourinho just started his European domination, that's why I said there are lots of things involved. It's in the quality of the player.
Bro, you have explained it already. Let's not go right again.
And the players come in and they look that, okay, we accept that the manager makes a decision and that's final. Some of them at some point will say, Baba, I have to go to a place where I'm the absolute starter. Some of them will do that and they will leave. The simple point I made is that when Mourinho just started, there was a time when he came to 04, 03, 04 something at Chelsea. He had about 3 or 4 strikers. Number 9s. DJ Drogba was in the team. Mateja Kezma was in the team. Hernan Crespo at some point was in the team alongside what's his name? I think Mourinho even coached Mutu. Mutu was there, Mourinho was there, and Gujosi was also playing first.
I think
so. Sometimes
you think they agreed to number 2.
Team, I'd rather be in this winning team.
No, they join because they are joining on the premise of starting, right? They don't accept that number 2. If you accept your number 2, the coach doesn't sign, the player doesn't sign you. That's what I believe, right? Anyway, it's a nice, robust conversation on that. We've done Arsenal, we've done Chelsea, Liverpool. I don't know if we'll just wrap up with Liverpool United because we've spent so much time already, right? Let's start with Liverpool, right? Where are Liverpool with this? I hear they want to get Gravenberg. Good luck to them because I'm done with Dutch players. Any player from any player from Dutch league, I'm hand on the inside. Even if
Bayern Munich now.
Bayern said no,
he's sharp.
The guy don't like Bayern. Yeah, the guy is not good enough, Jerry.
Why Bayern no
do that? He's a good profile for Liverpool. Can play
now football manager player. Yeah, FM, they play FM, do know now FM.
But on a scale of 10, right? I'll give Liverpool I'm stuck on 6 because it would be hard for me to give Arsenal a 6 and give Liverpool a 7. Do you understand? So I'll give Liverpool a 6 or a 5, and I'll say that because of extenuating circumstances, right? When you add players to the team, and we've spent the last 30 minutes, going back and forth about depth and what it needs to challenge. If there's any team in the Premier League that knows what it takes to go toe-to-toe with these guys at the top, it's Liverpool, right? Mm-hmm. They have that experience. And I'll give them a 7 or 7.5. But again, due to extenuating circumstances, they didn't envisage they would lose a core of the team to the Saudis. That's why you go back to the Chelsea thing. I'm like, the Saudis built everybody out. It was a bailout fund. You understand, right? I think if you still retain Henderson with Fabinho, you don't add a Szoboszlai with McAllister, and you're not going to add Gravenberg. As I said, 7 or 7.5. They've rejuvenated the midfield. Do you understand? While still holding on to the experience that saw them, as one of the best teams in the world. But because they've lost those 2 players, I have to give them, a 6 over 10. I don't know if you guys have any different opinion because we all agree that their forward line was stacked already. Emeka has been quiet for a bit. Let's have Emeka go.
So for me, I think 6.5 is accurate for me because they've replaced the midfielders that left with potential. So obviously McAllister, Szoboszlai has more potential because yes, we know he's very talented. He's done well in the Bundesliga, but it'll be interesting to see how he does in the Premier League. He's the right profile for them, so I like it. McAllister, of course, as well, quality player, World Cup winner. But I think for me, why I still give it 6.5 because there are 2 main issues unsolved. So how they lost Caicedo and Lavia was very amateur, and they got a 30-year-old Bundesliga, I think Japanese midfielder Endo. And I think for me, why I rate them lower, because Caicedo went all in for him, fair enough, but they clearly didn't do their homework. Because as Fire told us was it April, that his sources had told us that Caicedo was going to Chelsea. So they wasted their time there. And because they wasted their time there, they now lost Lavia, who was actually the person they went for at first. So they lost both of them. And that's the position they need the most. And Gravenberch, potential player, but he's not. He can play 6, but for me, his profile is a bit further forward because he's not disciplined enough to play that role, in my opinion, as Tuchel and Bayern Munich, even before Tuchel came, has shown. So I think that for me reduces them. And their defense last year was the worst their defense has been in years. They considered close to 50 league goals last year, for something, if I'm not mistaken. And I feel although Van Dijk and Konate are still good enough, I feel they could have improved that position. Plus depth for Trent and Trent especially. Robertson, they have Simicast, but I think they could have improved that as well. So I think for me, when you look at, if I'm going to put Arsenal in 7 for getting the likes of Declan Rice, Timber into that starting 11. I think for me, Liverpool, you say they got new starters, but because they've lost a lot of midfielders, so fair enough, they got some players in, which give you a 6 at least at the base. But for that number 6 position, they lost Fabinho, they lost Henderson, and they got a 30-year-old journeyman. So for me, I think that's going to leave them a bit lacking. I think they will struggle to keep more clean sheets like they did last year. But we know they're probably going to be arguably the highest scorers this season, in my opinion, because I think their forward line is electric. But I can't give them more than a 6.5 because that key position that they've been lacking, they didn't feel it. Just like going into a season knowing you need a striker, like you don't have any strikers, and now they don't have a number 6 that is at that level to win the league, in my opinion. So I have to give them a 6.5.
You know, since they make I don't come back to my listen, you don't give key position, you don't give Liverpool high point, but Arsenal when that's where he decided to that's where he draws the line.
Their key position now.
It's very clear.
Keep position as striker.
I'll give Liverpool 7.
Apart from strikers, what is the highest transfer fees are being paid for that number 6 role? So there's goal scorers. Now, if you look at football, the most valuable players, goal scorers, and then that midfielder. So you're looking at the midfielder that can do everything from number 6 to 8. And looking at the Bellingham, the Caicedo, these guys. I feel for them, they don't have that piece there, because that number 6 now, instead of build up on and off the ball as well as on and off the ball. That position is key, especially to what Klopp wants to do, which is why they bid 110 for Liverpool to bid 110 million for a player. The way they spend their money, for them to bid 110 million for a player shows how much they needed and they wanted someone in that position at that level. So I think
I'm just gonna ask, right? I personally believe that the most important position in the football team, right, is the number 6, right? I believe it is the hardest position to fill. It is to get a striker that is world class, can score you lots of goals. But the hardest position to play, right, is the number 6 role, right? So for me, in my mind, they are par, right? To that effect, I believe that when you think about Liverpool, they are stacked in front. Midfield, they're light there. The goalkeeper is good, but like you said, because they haven't filled that key position, it's hard to find that position. Let's think about it. Is there a player in Europe now that you said is a player that can do all? I don't think there's a player at the moment that can do all.
But they missed out on their two, so they missed out on Caicedo and Lavia, which is why, and they went for both of them. So when you miss out on
the Caicedo deal, they were never going to buy Caicedo, right?
The player.
It looked like he was going there. So I think when you lose 2 of your first choice targets in that position, so their first target was
Liverpool,
and they lost him to that, and they lost.
I think Lavia was their first choice. Lavia was their first choice.
You see, this is also an example of what I was saying, that I think a Baker's network.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
go ahead.
So it's also an example of what I was saying, that the transfer window sometimes can be difficult. So you see with Liverpool, right? They naturally, someone that wants to criticize Liverpool can say, but you know that you had a short window for replacement. Why would you allow Fabinho go? But the big money came, the man made it clear, I won't go. And at that moment, as if you are Liverpool, you are thinking, what do we do? Can we convince him to stay? If we can't convince him to stay, then we have to move forward to find a replacement, even though we have a short period. So even though, they missed out on Lavia, maybe the way they handled that was a little bit juvenile, but the core of the problem was the fact that we lost this guy that we didn't think we were planning with when the summer transfer window started. So I'll give them a 7.
Just for you go on there. So you give them a 7. Just for you go on there. Let's make it clear, right? If Liverpool don't think that they can do without the player, they don't let him go. Let's just be clear. Right.
So the thing is, you can tell a player you can't let him go, but clubs will always tell you we don't want to keep a player that doesn't want to be here. So
it's not the first time I've seen clubs do it.
Up in the balance.
A club like Liverpool cannot be forced into selling a player they don't want to sell.
No, so where you are you going to trust his professionalism that, I don't want to stay? That's what I mean by, can we convince him to stay? Because you can't force him to stay. If you force him to stay, then you have a player that doesn't want to be there, that's not happy to be there. So that's what I mean.
I get what you're saying.
Can you convince him to stay? If you can't convince him to stay, then you are like, okay, now let's go.
Audio is
Emeka, I think your network is because we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry. I said
So say again?
Saudi wants Salah. Would they let Salah go?
They won't let Salah go, no way.
They don't post Salah pictures since.
They've already
They were happy to cash in on those guys.
So
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Liverpool, you can't force them to sell who they don't want to sell. They've
already said they are going to reject the bid for Salah. But I tell you now, the situation changes immediately if Salah goes and makes it serious that Baba, I want to go. The situation changes immediately.
Players can make it difficult. Hold on. Players can make it difficult while the market is still open.
Yes.
When the market closes, right?
Yeah, of course.
Your mind shifts back to you start to get over the frustration slowly. You start to get you understand. So that's how it is. Mbappe was hell bent in his mind. Mbappe was in his mind. I will not play for this again. Right? When the season started, let's not forget this is a top competitor, right? When the season started, Haaland, bang, 2 goals. Guys, like, what? My peers are scoring goals. What am I doing in my career? You get? Put pressure on the phone. Guys, I want to talk. So, again, I understand what both of you are saying, and, I said as well, it's a bit tricky, but ultimately, Liverpool are not a selling club. You can't force them to sell who they don't want to sell, right? But 7/10 from the 5 end to Liverpool.
I think I'll give them a 7. Now, this is it. I've seen Szoboszlai, and I think he's someone who can really help the DM if there's an issue. I saw it against Newcastle.
He can't play there.
No, he tracks back a lot. It tracks back a lot.
I would say McAllister. Say the track back.
No, McAllister said the funny thing is that Endo boy overworked them against Newcastle because they had to start getting the ball from the back line and the rest. But I think not signing a proper DM will be a problem because that Endo guy looks lost. And don't forget, Liverpool.
That's a bit harsh. I don't think he looked lost.
No, I know, but the way Liverpool plays, you have fullbacks who transition a lot, who you barely see them stay in their position. So you are exposed as a DM. And that's why if you have Liverpool always have this mindset of, our DM must always be someone who is probably static, someone who doesn't move a lot because they know their exposure, they know how well the team will be exposed if you have a moving DM. And that's why I was scared for someone like Caicedo coming to Liverpool. I think they will be exposed to someone like Caicedo because Caicedo as well likes transitioning. He likes, coming forward, he likes involving himself in the play as much as the attacking midfielders as well. But you look at Fabinho, you play 80 minutes, you barely see him out of the DM position. So if they are getting anybody now, I think they need to get someone who understands the role of a DM.
They won't buy Ndidi now. They won't buy Ndidi, my Nigerian brother.
I think Ndidi will be better, to be honest, because Ndidi is someone that you can barely see him out of position. You can barely see
Baba, don't worry, that fake news. Forget. Except something happened.
Anyway, I think we're also forgetting how, you know, over the last 2 years we've forgotten how Liverpool's midfield was. Liverpool's midfield didn't have a creator inside it, right?
Yes.
Which is like they fundamentally had Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Henderson. Those players moved like a ruler. They go up, they come down, right? They literally you don't have a creator that, right? You understand? So I don't. Jurgen Klopp is too much of a pompous guy to give him a soft landing, because 19. But in many ways, they're also trying to
get out. I give him 5. I take the 7 back.
You get. They're also trying to transition the midfield, because you're not going to find. That's why I say Caicedo would have been the perfect player for Liverpool.
He would have been
perfect.
He would have been.
You know. So Emeka gave Liverpool a 7.5. I think it's high.
No, I think he gave them a 6. He gave them 6.57.
No, 6.5. 6.5.
6.5. I gave them a 6. Rufa gave them a 7. And IBK did a 7 as well, right?
Yeah.
Let's finish with United, right? And what I think is going to happen on the final day, right? Obviously, the last couple of hours, Amrabat is the story. Brother.
When feel like tension, they're no green loan.
But hear my rating first. Right? You know, if you know a player is important for your season,
yep,
you go ahead and do everything in your power to do it early, right? United had agreed personal terms with Amrabat since June. June.
Now the same thing with Caicedo now.
And you know that midfielders have gone on the premium. You have seen Declan Rice, who is, you can say, is better than Amrabat, right? Because you have seen him play more. And you have seen him doing for a longer time than Amrabat, right? But Amrabat did it at the World Cup for a 1 month period, right? And that's the biggest stage. So that has counted for something, right? So you see that the price for midfielders is a premium. Caicedo, 115. Declan Rice, 105, right? Liverpool struggled. Lavia, 60 million. Do you understand? So already that should tell you that the benchmark, what we're getting the guy for, is cheap money. Same you has gone ahead and signed Mr. Man for 60 million pounds. Absolute waste of money. Right?
No, now let's give him time. It's United.
So what do you wait for? Why do you have to wait till the last day of the window to get him in? On that premise, right? I give United a 5/10 on the window. 5/10. You know, because
in fact, signing a 9-goal striker. Signing a 9-goal striker is already 5/10.
Relax. The Onana problem is the problem that you created for yourself. So I don't give you kudos for solving a problem that you created. Do you understand? The Mr. Mount problem you get. I agree it was a good deal to get Mr. Mount. I think you were paid a little bit for a player that had 1 year on his contract.
Now English player, that's the problem. Now English player, they are overpaying for English players everywhere. I can't even blame any club.
I agree, because I wish I have Mr. Mount in my right senses. We 1 year on his deal for more than 30 million pounds. That 30 million pounds, he must have been at the club. He must have come out, held a placard with the other club, saying, I want to go. Right? With Hoyland, right? I mean, Emeka has said already, he's helped us out, you know, it's the toughest thing to fill these days. So are you gonna do you want to wait for him to become a 25 goal guy? Right? I think the Hoyland deal and now pay for 485 million. You get you want to do that?
You die. Make it just 20 goals for 1 season.
Yeah, because when I see Hoyland, I was thinking about the Hoyland deal, you know, making the prep. It's a similar, I think United are thinking is similar thinking with what Napoli with Osimhen. When Napoli signed Osimhen, we were like, hold on a sec, 70 million on this kid. Even us in Nigeria, we didn't believe it. Like,
you
understand? He's injury prone, he doesn't stay fit. You know, we see his raw talent, but even at 70 million was a lot of money. But fast forward 3 years down the line, if you go to Napoli, if you don't hold your first, say what, bring 20 million to just open a conversation first as per logistics or drinks. You know, they will shoot you at the gate.
They don't put 150 million release clause for new contracts.
So that's why I don't understand. As long as I struggle to understand what United are doing with Haaland, but like I can see what they've done that.
But that's what we meant by the transfer window can be hard. That's exactly what we're saying.
But you do it anyway. You do it anyway.
The reason I'll blame United.
I give United 5.
The reason I'll blame United is that okay, Sofian Amrabat now. You have now decided let's get him on loan because of FFP. Why haven't you put the loan deal on the table since? Just put the loan deal there, get it done. That's the only thing I would. But as far as because people like to come out, you say, oh, this team, when this other team they buy this player, we don't develop to this. It is not the same with big teams, like it or not. Big teams actually see a lot of these players that the small teams sign that maybe now develop to become. They see them before anybody sign them.
Didn't they give Woodward a chance to sign Caicedo for £4 million?
Bro, did you not see Did you not see the video of Steve Bruce that he's now talking about when he was at Newcastle? Cairo Mitoma. Mitoma was scouted. I can't remember the name of the. I read an article about. The truth is that in all these teams, they see these players, but it's not the same with big teams to bring in a player from one obscure place that nobody knows and throw him in the team and say he's going to develop. It's not the same.
It's not the same, but it's a self-inflicted problem. Because Liverpool are a big team, right? And Liverpool over the last 5 years did exactly that with the players.
But they paid the price. That's why they had to be patient for Jurgen Klopp. 3 years, 3.5, let him build what he's building. They paid the price for it. So if you are going to be patient, look at the small things now. When Mitoma came, nobody knew. No big news about it. No press madness about it. He has entered the team. Now, when he don't perform, we know. If a small team, if a big team goes and...
They don't buy one small boy again.
Everybody will know.
Right, you don't buy one small boy, replace Caicedo. You don't buy one black boy, replace Caicedo again like this.
Yes, now.
I don't talk another one.
They make sure the ball was a black... They make sure the ball is a black boy. They measure the boy height. They say Caicedo is 1.95 meters tall. You are just 1.5. Take it, it's fine.
You know the funniest thing? There's a
How many siblings do you have? Not 9, but okay, you have 7. It's fine.
You know the funniest thing? There's a list of transfers that these clubs have made. I'll probably share it on the group. Maybe from like 2016, 2017. These smaller teams are on top of that list for the most signings made. Brighton, West Ham, all this, but there will be team where everybody media they go crazy when they sign players.
So Rufai, I was speaking to some guys at the sports. I was watching the match, and I got a good insight on Brighton. I'm just going to go ahead and do my research. The Brighton owner is a tech guy, right? They say the model that Brighton have to their transfers, no club in Europe has it.
No,
they said they have this. They said they have this predictive analysis. They said like they developed a software for themselves on how they predict, like they have even with their managers. You know, the next 2 managers they want to sign. If they didn't get the Zerbi, they have the guy that they want to get is also Zerbi. So I'm careful about benchmarking Brighton with everybody because Brighton they're a peculiar case study.
No, the point I'm just making is that so they have that model, but what I'm saying is that they signed a lot of players. The point I'm making is that because of where they are as a team, the signings they make will not get fanfare like the United, the Chelsea. Exactly. So people don't even know that they signed loads of players. But they have that model that they use. They send this one. Caicedo came in. They sent him on loan to whether not Italy or Belgium. So they have that model that they send this one. In fact, they called Caicedo back because there was a shortage in the midfield. I think one of their players got injured or something. So it's not the same. It's not always the same for the big teams.
Yeah, they say they even predict. They say their formula, their model predicts. How long they can keep a player for, like. They said this Caicedo thing that they had modeled. They knew they were going to be there for only maybe past 2 years. They said with the Cisco thing that it said that model they have can tell you that the max we can hold on to this player for 5 years. After that, we don't expect to have the player continue to pick all that kind of stuff. So it's a crazy. You should check it out as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think for me, for United, I would give them a 4/10. Now, this is it because
that 4 kill you there. What do you want to take remaining 6 do?
Yeah, first now, yeah. Because what is United's priority for the season? I'm sure United will come in and say we can challenge for the title as well. I don't think a club like United will be looking at just the top 4. You know, they are big club, they are massive club.
Now you want challenge for this title. Now you for inside that your house.
Now you want to say United are massive club.
I did behind man will challenge for the title.
The investment is big enough. That's the truth.
Which investment is big enough?
In the end, they would want to challenge for the title. Now, United's biggest problem last season was having a proper striker, a number 9, someone who is a poacher. And I'm surprised that you had about 2-3 months all through the transfer window, and you could only sign someone who has 9 league goals.
I know. So that
now there are some
who therefore signed.
Wait, listen. There are some things that are not fluke. To be honest, you look at Man City's signing in recent years. They go for, especially when it comes to the number 9 position, they go for. Look at the Haaland statement. A club like Man U should be the one signing Haaland because there's a. No. Listen.
What is this build now?
What I'm saying, what I'm saying is a team that is struggling should be able to go for it. This Osimhen's deal, I feel that Man U should have just, dropped down 150 for Osimhen. That's a proper statement signing that you want to really compete this season. Not some Oiland who has back injury.
Tell that person they give those to make it stop.
Why? Wait,
you won't cook. You won't cook.
Oh, yeah, cook.
You won't cook.
Then I say, you can cook with Casemiro.
He's cooking. And I said,
you won't cook. Casemiro not come back. They're not going to go now. Everybody not keep quiet.
Everybody not keep quiet.
Last week, you see, assistant. Jimo Park. This week, I don't see any stats.
Man, you lose that game. They go find way to put Casemiro inside.
Oh, well. That's the man you lose that game.
They go put Casemiro inside.
That Casemiro header. The Carragher for the man you gave this weekend. Carragher not say that.
If it was a man you lose that game. If it was a man you lose that game. That goal where I only score. They go say Casemiro is not in the right position.
Say it's not saying
that. That's for the team now. Emeka don't go. But I think okay. Emeka, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I wanted to give my own rating.
Oh yeah. I don't finish. They no sign striker, so I think
you're being very harsh. First of all, if we sign Osimhen for 150 million, then we're finished because we don't have a keeper. We won't have any midfielder or defender trying to improve. So obviously,
do you have a keeper now? Do you have a keeper now? Do you have a keeper now?
Yes, we do. We have the best keeper in the Champions League last year.
You have a ball playing goalkeeper. Don't worry, we'll go still get there. Don't worry.
Everybody,
wait now. Make him fuck off first.
We have a very good keeper. And so my point, and the thing on Højlund as well, like Yuri mentioned, we're buying the potential, and you're saying just 9 goals. But first of all, last year he was 19 years old in Syria, and he started only 20 games. He started after him because obviously Zapata and I believe Muriel. So when you look at that, he's 19. He was 19 years old last year. He scored 9 goals and 2 assists in 20 starts. I don't know how many 19-year-old strikers in one of the toughest leagues in the world are getting those numbers. Let's be real. I think that's pretty decent. And we bought it for 64 million and about 8 million add-ons. Cole Palmer, who has played 500 minutes of top flight football, got signed for 45 million. The prices these days are crazy, but again, we believe in potential. He's top scorer in European qualifiers as well for Denmark, scored a hat-trick. So we're buying the potential, so I don't have any issue with that. If, again, like we mentioned with Arsenal, there are no available, like Kane was, if people wanted to buy Kane, Levy would have put another 50 million, so that was not an option. Osimhen, 120, 150 million, that's not an option. So you have to buy the next best thing, and that's what we're banking on. You go for Onana. I think Onana is a quality goalkeeper. Again, De Gea was a problem of our own making. I'm not going to give us so much credit for that, but we signed a quality keeper that was one of the best players in the Champions League last year. Mount, I think again we wanted an upgrade on Eriksen in terms of someone that has legs because Ten Hag is trying to press high and Mount off the ball is probably even better than Mount on the ball. So I think I understand that signing, but overall I'll give United a 6 or maybe a 6 or maybe a 5.5 just based on the scattergun approach again towards the end because it started quite well. We needed a keeper, we got a keeper. We needed a midfielder.
Started well.
More of a defensive midfielder we needed, but I understand after watching Eriksen in the FA Cup final, like the man cannot move. Like he's full of quality, but the man cannot move. So I know why he wanted Mount, but we needed the DM more also. So fair enough. And we needed a striker. So I think right now I'll give United a 5.5 or 6 because we filled in roles, but I think we could have done it better and quicker because Amrabat is key. Is very, very key to what we need to do. So we have got Amrabat in early on. But just a quick one, just a quick one, because of your point about why we waited this late. I feel if we wanted to give them a loan deal, let's say in July, I don't think they would have accepted because again, they would have known that we have money. Now they've he's not even training with the team, he's not playing. So now I think we just want the situation solved. That's true. So it's a good bargaining. It helps us in a bargaining perspective that we can do loan with obligation to buy just so we can just finish it off. But I think United, I'll give a 5.5 or 6.
Well, I just wanted to. And I think it's a fair rating. Yeah, I just wanted to add actually that thinking about it now, United going into the transfer window because my own rating has been on even from what we were saying last season. What was the positions where we felt like they will need to strengthen them. So that's the direction from where I'm coming from. So if you look at it, and even up until the end of the season, I didn't think United were absolutely they weren't sure already that the girl was going to go. I think the season ended before that decision was concluded. So and the manner with which they've gone and replaced very on point got that done. But again, it's about there's so many things that go on behind the scenes to make a transfer happen. So we want to get these players. Okay, what are the parameters? Sometimes you even realize that there are multiple owners, but this is the number one choice that we want for this position. So now we need to speak to this person, that person, that person. For example, Romeo Lavia, for example, one of the reasons why Romeo Lavia's negotiation it was tricky was because Man City had a sell-on clause, 20%. So that automatically shoot up the money to some degree because Southampton are thinking we need to get some substantial amount. And even City are going to get 20%. So when you look at all of the things, I dare say that if we are privy to everything that go on behind the scenes for transfers to happen, we might not criticize as much as we do. Might.
Right. I think we had a very good chat. Better than I thought it would be. Ranking the transfer window, the players, of course, the club as well. From on a scale of 1 to 10, we did United, we've done Chelsea, we've done Liverpool, we've done Arsenal. I think we've done the less said about Man City, the better for everybody. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, I think just to avoid this, let's just say the tiny mention for Newcastle and West Ham because I think these two teams have done good business. In my opinion, good business.
I think West Ham have done very good business. Newcastle as well. I hope we can touch Newcastle. So I hope we can touch Newcastle subsequently, but we've actually exhausted everybody's time. And be good to see how this episode fares. Let us know on the podcast comment section, YouTube. As you're listening, take a pause. Don't wait for it. That's the way I do it. Before he's making a point, I don't wait for him to finish. Of course I let him make the point, but leave the message, leave the comments as in the hots, that kind of thing. Emeka, I want to thank you very much for joining in on short notice. Appreciate it. Your network was trying to be,
and I have to say, this is a away jersey. At first look, I've been
I love it.
I think it's.
I love it.
It's sweet.
I love it. I want to buy the oversized one, right? And wear it.
No, I think it's.
That's what I want. I don't want to host my. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Yeah, Rufai, IBK, you can go and your. Unless you don't wear a church shirt, come do podcast today. But anyway, continue to support the podcast, man. We're back in the studio soon, but for now, enjoy the audio and enjoy the Zoom episodes. We'll see you very soon. Bye bye.